Alright, hello everyone, thanks for coming out to the stream. I'm sorry for that really long wait, and it was a lot of fun to be able to just chat with you guys for like 50 minutes while I waited for these teams to get their crap together. And so we're finally going to get in there. Welcome to day number 2 of DiscipleQuest to become the very best shoutcaster in the world, and I am excited to bring you guys another game. We have Team Disney Star against... Ooh, whose team is Docta and Azingi? I guess we'll see what their name is, but we're going to bring you some shoutcasting, and remember to let me know what I need to correct on, and I'll work on that. I'll work on that. And I think the comment that I want to choose to work on now is that someone said that I have really great flow in my play-by-play casting, but that sometimes I can get a little bit monotone, so I just want to make sure that I keep life in my voice the entire time and keep everyone interested. And that eventually I can just make a very entertaining broadcast that anyone can tune into. I really want to work on making my stuff more accessible to people from all different skill levels, so that if they're not really familiar with League, that they could be able to get into the cast and still be involved and interested. And so I will go ahead and show you guys the teams really quick. They're about to get in the game, but I can talk about those picks. I hope the client sounds aren't too loud. They were awful last time. They were just seriously hideous. Oh, and they just wanted to jump up on me. Okay, cool. Well, we are loading into our game then. Alright, so it looks like we have here over on our blue team, which is Team Disney Star. In the middle lane, we have Baby Zeus on Gragas. We have Latman on the AD carry. He hasn't loaded in yet, so we will see what his AD carry is there in a minute. Being supported by Apexy on Annie. Proof of Payment will be jungling with Elise, and then Geek Gone Mad will take Shyvana to the top lane. Over on our purple team, we have Email Support 4476, which I believe is either a joke by them or it was an inappropriate name that was then replaced by Riot. Either way, we can go ahead and call him Email Support, and this is going to be Dragon Raider in the top lane on Malphite, Azingi playing Fiddlesticks in the jungle, Signature on Draven in the bot lane being supported by Docta, and then Much to Learn on Talon in the mid lane. I'm excited for some sweet challenger action. I guess we have to wait for Latman to load in here as he works hard to upgrade his gear. Alright, so looking at these compositions, we can definitely see a strong early game here coming out from Disney Star. They have an Elise jungle who pretty much once she hits level 3 and has that cocoon can gank anywhere. Elise has so much mobility built in, as well as a good amount of base damage on her kit. With a red buff, then the ganks can be incredibly powerful and devastating to a lane without many escapes. Malphite can have a rough time early on. He does have some great base tankiness as well as a passive which gives him a shield for 10% of his health. But if there's enough CC, enough stuns that land on him, he's at least going to have to blow his flash to get away. Now he did take teleport, so he might not be able to fight a little bit too hard in that top lane if he tries to go all in Shyvana, which I doubt he would ever want to do anyway. He's definitely going to lose that 1v1 trade just because of Shyvana's Ignite, but Shyvana herself is such a strong top laner and can duel pretty much any top laner rather easily. Especially against a Malphite, that really won't be much of a difference. Malphite just has to try and survive this lane. He's going to be pushed around, he's going to be bullied. He just has to farm up and then use that teleport to get off some awesome ganks with his unstoppable force. That incredibly long range AoE knockup can be so powerful for initiating a fight and for ganking a lane. It could definitely snowball his team ahead, who are a team of snowballers. They have a Talon in the mid lane and a Draven in the bot, and we all know how they like their kills. So we are finally getting in here. I'm going to go ahead and reorganize everyone so that you can properly compare them to their respective lanes. And what I'd like to see early on is Proof of Payment getting some early buffs and then immediately going to lanes and laying down pressure, because his is a team that cannot afford to die and would love to stomp these early aggressors that are Draven and Talon. Whereas over on the purple side, Azingi probably can't do a lot earlier. His ganking isn't amazing until he gets a higher rank of his sphere. He can still do a little bit, but really what he's going to be looking to do is farming up his jungle, getting up some ability power, potentially going for an early dragon since his drain can enable him to tank that for pretty much an indefinite amount of time. And really just wait until Dragon Raider and Azingi are strong enough to team fight. Meanwhile, Signature and Much to Learn will be looking to snowball their lanes, however, without an incredibly aggressive jungler that they might have been able to pick up. I don't know that they'll get off the ganks that they need to really get the gold from the League of Dragon passive or to really get the early items that Talon needs to thrive in lane. When we look at these matchups, Talon is against a Gragas in the mid, which is going to be a pretty rough time for him since Gragas is naturally tanky. He does have a lot of great sustain from his passive as well as damage reduction on his W, Drunken Rage. And so if he continues to just play safe in that lane, pushing out the lane with his barrel roll for that ranged AoE wave clear, then he should be safe. However, if he plays a little bit aggressively, maybe goes in with the body slam instead of out, then Fiddle could pop up from behind with a Crow Storm, throw that fear down on the Gragas, and that silence he gets from Dark Wind will be able to stop Gragas from escaping. Now we see Disney Star grouping up here in the bush. They aren't spotted by that ward. It doesn't have vision in there. This is 4 members here. They're going to walk around. They are now spotted by the ward. They're going to throw 2 wards over to this blue buff. They want to contest this. They want to keep Fiddle from getting this, and he's immediately going to back off. Draven is going to go ahead and get some stacks of League of Draven, but that's not what we're really interested in right now. Apexi is coming out in front. He has his stuns charged up with that Incinerate, and he's looking to go. They're going onto his Zingy, get stunned down, get a lot of damage. There's the Ignite onto his Zingy, and the fight is going down everywhere. Much to Learn is falling low. He has to be careful. He has to flash away here. Proof of Payment wants to follow in. Baby Zeus flashes in for the barrel roll. He does a lot of damage, but he doesn't have the follow-up there. Now Signature is in a pretty rough spot. Let's see if he can get out of this. I think he'll be able to. The Incinerate misses from Apexi, and Docta is looking to potentially chase on as Zingy's coming in here from the side with the Drain, getting a bit of health back, but not quite doing enough damage. The Flay from Docta does stop Apexi in his tracks, but overall there were no kills. And the top laners just being top laners, leaving the rest of the map in a 4v4 as they trade back and forth. Actually, Dragon Raider putting a good amount of damage on the Gigamad early on. Gigamad will be able to put some good damage back on, especially with Shyvana's early magic damage that she gets from both the Burnout and the Flame Tongue, I believe. Flame Breath, there we go. And that'll definitely help wear through some of Shyvana's, or some of Malphite's armor that he wants to stack since he does scale so well with that. Now Latman and Apexi are trying to play aggressively, but the Incinerate misses. I guess he's just throwing that to try and get up the stack so he can eventually get the stun. He is actually pretty good on mana, so he's doing a great job of charging up his stuns and also staying up on them, so he will be in a place to fight. And we've just fallen to our steady laning. We had Proof of Payment go back already after only picking up 1 buff, and so Proof of Payment just has that enemy blue and is now actually looking to go up towards his own, I believe. Whereas Azingi only managed to take his red buff, and he's going to be on pretty low mana, so we will have to recall. I will expect to see him get the Spirit of the Spectral Raid, since that does give you essentially mana regeneration. You get a percentage of your damage dealt to neutral monsters back as both health and mana. So it's a pretty perfect item for Fiddle if he needs that help sustain in the jungle. Right now, both of our junglers are a little bit behind, but Proof of Payment, because he has these 2 buffs in his own jungle, is going to be far ahead of Azingi. Azingi probably can't contest this. Signature fell pretty low down in this bottom lane, but Apexi and Latman weren't quite there to finish it. However, they do have a lot of health. The Flay comes back on the Latman. There's a Death Sentence. Latman is now in turret range. The stand aside, and the Ignite come down. Latman falls low. There's the flash over for the auto attack. Latman going to go down here for the first blood. An excellent play there, and now Docta is chasing on to Apexi. He throws the Lantern back to get Signature up to his speed. Let's see if he can land this Death Sentence. Is he going to go for it? He can't. Apexi is able to get away. His flash is blown, though, and that's going to be the first blood picked up in the bottom lane from Docta and Signature, and a very excellent play, bringing Latman back into the turret several times. The rest of the map is just a little bit less action-packed. Baby Zeus is attempting to just farm up in this lane. He is running rather low on mana. He does have some slight mana generation from the Drunken Rage, but he's really going to have to rely on either getting a Chalice of Harmony or a blue buff early on. Proof of Payment came in, tried to go for the Cocoon, but just wasn't quite on spot with that. Much to Learn is going to be safe. They're both farming up rather equally. Much to Learn is actually a little bit ahead. Talon can afford to play aggressively in the early game there. And with all this mana, he should be able to still throw out rakes, still clear out the waves, and be able to give Gragas a bit of a hard time. He has to be careful once Gragas hits his level 6 and gets some mana though, because an explosive cask along with a jungler gank can be absolutely devastating. Baby Zeus has to watch out here. Actually, this might be a 2v2. Let's see who can do the better baiting. Baby Zeus is going to come up very aggressively, and Much to Learn going to jump in, but dodge out of the cocoon. Now there is the body slam onto a Zingy, who's throwing down the drain. Baby Zeus is falling low, but Proof of Payment is getting onto a Zingy, who has to flash away. He's falling low. Much to Learn in a bad spot, going to go down to Proof of Payment. Much to Learn's flash was still blown from that level 1 fight, and they were able to follow up on that and bring him down before he could quite escape. An excellent gank there coming up from Proof of Payment, even though he missed his cocoon. He hasn't really been on spot with many cocoons, but what he's good at is judging his ability to close distances and put out damage when he needs to. So a great gank is going to turn this around for a 1-for-1 overall on the map. And it looks like about a 500 gold advantage here for Disney Stars. However, email support always still has a chance here. They still, if they get a couple more kills on the Draven, could definitely pull ahead in gold, since his League of Draven passive does give him pretty insane gold generation. Azingi is doing what we said, mostly staying out of the lanes. He did pay a visit to the mid lane, but he is largely just farming up that jungle. He has his Hunter's Machete as well as the boots, and he's going to recall here, most likely to grab a Spirit Stone. Talon and Draven have both picked up their double Doran's Blades to go for that early aggression. Actually, we see Boots of Mobility coming out from Azingi before he's picked up any other items, not even a Spirit Stone. And so he is going for the race car build, definitely, you know, passing out on the, in the bot lane. There's going to be a lot of aggression there as Proof of Payment comes in on the Doctor. There is a stun and the cocoon, and this looks like it'll be a dead Doctor. He throws out the shield, and he's going to be able to survive for long enough that Proof of Payment will fall to Zingature. Now as Zingy is here, he's coming in fast with those Boots of Mobility, but he's not going to be able to follow up on there. That was still a great play from Doctor to stay alive long enough to return a kill. And if you go 1-for-1, as long as Draven gets the kill, then he's going to come out ahead, since he does get the gold from that League of Draven passive. If we check it, he gained 236 gold from that. So he made 536 gold from that kill, and almost made double the gold off of that play just from being Draven, which turns out to be a pretty solid buff if you're able to make some plays off of there. Now Talon picking up these double Dorans might look to get a little bit aggressive here, since Gragas really only has a Chalice of Harmony that won't do anything to dissuade any of Talon's damage, since it gives him magic resistance, and Talon does exclusively physical damage, except I believe for the bleed on his Q. Nope, that's also physical damage. Was there? So Apexy died in the bottom lane. Direct-to-camera decided that that wasn't enough to see, as Zingature is just continuing to be Draven, picking up his second kill of the game, some more for that League of Draven passive, and just showing dominance in this bottom lane. Jinx really doesn't have the tools to deal with Draven if she falls behind, since Jinx's strong point is really in that mid-game, where Draven can do excellently if he's got a couple of items. He's just going to hit his big items far before Latman can afford them, since he's getting this extra gold generation, so he'll be able to buy that BF sword very soon here. If we look at the gold on him, that's going to be 2,000, so he already has enough for the Vampire Scepter as well as BF sword. Now Latman has got caught in by the Descendants, but an excellent Flame Chomper is going to stop him. The sun comes in onto Signature. The Super Mega Death Rocket flies in, and Proof of Payment takes out the kill. The teleport came down from Dragon Raider, who tries to turn this around. He's doing an excellent job. Proof of Payment is falling low. Latman finally goes down, but Doctor's in a rough spot. Can Apexy get it? He does with the Disintegrate. Baby Zeus has now come to join the fight. Dragon Raider is in the middle of a 1v3, flashes out. Much to Learn is there from the back, going to flash in and go immediately on to Proof of Payment. Takes him out with the ultimate and immediately follows up for the double kill there onto Apexy. A great play from Much to Learn, holding off on that ultimate until Proof of Payment came down from the rappel. Very well played there by both teams. A lot of action, but ultimately it's going to result in a 6-4 kill advantage over here for email support. In the top lane, Fiddlesticks is being Fiddlesticks, getting a nice drain down on the Geek on Mad, who can't quite fight against that. He does have his Dragon's Descent to knock him out of either the ultimate or the drain. However, if it's just out of the drain, that drain will be back up in another 4 to 5 seconds. So he has to be careful when using that huge cooldown, and instead he's just going to back off here. He did put down some great damage on this turret. This is close to being the first turret in the game to fall. And we don't see any big objectives taken so far. If you look at the gold, it's only separated by 200, even though there are 2 kills in the favor here of email support. If we look, we see the farm is in the advantage in both the mid, top, and actually the bottom lanes to Disney Stars here. So even though they go up a couple kills, they've still been able to excellently CS under the odds. Shyvana did get a bit of alone time in the top lane, and was able to overtake Dragon Raider, who's actually now almost caught up. I'm surprised at how well Malphite has done in this Malphite-Shyvana matchup. One interesting note is that he did take the Chalice of Harmony against Shyvana. Now, Chalice of Harmony is a great pickup here because it not only dissuades some of that early magic damage, but it also gives you the mana regeneration that Malphite needs to clear out these waves with his Ground Slam, and now he's trading very, very well onto Geek Gone Mad. I wasn't expecting this from this lane, but with that pickup, he's doing well. He's now looking to pick up most likely a Sunfire Cape with that Giant's Belt, whereas Shyvana went for a Bilgewater Cutlass and a Negatron Cloak. I suspect the Negatron Cloak will eventually go into a Spirit Visage, and the Bilgewater Cutlass will of course go into that Blade of the Ruined King, which is very strong on Shyvana, who scales well with attack speed, percent health damage, and with any kind of mobility she can afford, since most melee champions need it direly.
Why, thank you.
Right now, it looks like Proof of Payment is moving in here towards the bottom lane. He wants to get off a gank. The gold is even. Zingy is standing there as well. This looks like it could be a 3 versus 3. There's no ward in that bush. Signature is going to go down rather quickly, but there is a Crowstorm coming in from a Zingy. He flashes right onto Lotman. Signature does go down immediately, but Apexy follows up. Now Zingy is chasing onto Lotman and Proof of Payment. He gets the red buff slow, but now Baby Zeus is there with the flash body slam onto a Zingy, taking him down before he can turn onto either Lotman or Proof of Payment. Docta is here alone. He wanted to make something for Much to Learn to come in and help him out with, but Much to Learn just wasn't there in time. He didn't respond quickly enough to the Baby Zeus roam, and that enabled them to pick up the great kill onto both a Zingy and a Signature. A lot of zigs on this team. Proving to be a bit of a mouthful for them as they both die in that fight. Then Baby Zeus has just come right back up to the mid lane, will continue farming, and will continue to increase his advantage, even though he spent more time roaming and making presence to the other lanes. He's still 20 CS ahead of his lane opponent, Much to Learn. Much to Learn has taken the time to drop out of lane, stop farming, and try and gank top. The Dragon Scent comes out from Geek Gone Mad, but there is the dash in from Much to Learn, forces the flash out of Geek Gone Mad, but does not get the kill. Still a great roam from Much to Learn, although he has to make something of it now. He has to either farm up in mid and return up to that top lane, or maybe come up to that top lane soon with a Zingy to really capitalize on that flash burn from Geek Gone Mad. Baby Zeus attempted to push out that middle lane into the turret, but didn't quite get in time. So Much to Learn will have this CS, but it looks like Disney Stars could be prepping for a dragon here. They are trying to get that vision advantage around it. They are all moving around this area and refusing to really go anywhere north of that mid lane. Signature has to be careful here since Proof of Payment is in the area, but he's actually going to fall back and pick up his double golems. Doctor goes in for the death sentence, but doesn't quite land it. Gets it onto a ranged minion there, and that ranged minion takes it for the team. Oh, Signature's in a bad spot here. There's the Summon Tiver, stun onto him, a lot of damage, and Lotman takes him out with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doctor's just going to have to back off the side of this one. Didn't quite have the opportunity to throw in that Lantern for the save, which might have been his only hope. Another Bodyguard minion keeping that Death Sentence off. Let's see if Zingy decides to go for the Curse Storm here. It's not off of cooldown yet. He can't come in, and that will be the second turret of the game falling here in the bottom lane. Both turrets over here in the advantage of Disney Stars, and with Signature down, they might look to go for this dragon here. He might want to try and seal it with the Whirling Death. Let's see how he decides to play that. The Proof of Payment, Lotman, Apexy, and Baby Zeus are all in here. There's the teleport in, stopping them from taking down the ward. Much to Learn goes in onto Lotman. There's a Zingy over with the Crow Storm, but he's not hitting anyone. Proof of Payment gets caught out. Lotman did fall off screen. Proof of Payment going to flash over the wall here. Stop the rest of the drain. The Whirling Death comes across. There's the recall in the bush from Proof of Payment. Oh! He gets taken out on the backswing of the Whirling Death. Now Much to Learn, and Dragon Raider did chase on and did take out Baby Zeus. That was such a great play here from from email support. Now Azingi is just going to solo up this dragon since he does have the constant health back from the drain. A really, really great play, actually giving them the gold advantage just ever so slightly. I was not expecting that at all. Geek on Mad was not a part of that fight, so it was a 5v4 overall. Geek on Mad did almost take out this inner turret. He might actually be able to get that now. Dragon Raider doesn't have a lot of damage, and he doesn't have that unstoppable force, so that will be the turret down for Geek on Mad. He does have his Dragon Sent to get away, as well as the speed boost from his burnout, but Dragon Raider is going to chase onto him. I'm not sure he can go on for too long. He doesn't even have half of his cooldown left on his ult. He's going to back off there. Geek on Mad did fall low. He did have to be careful of Much to Learn, whose ultimate is already back up. And it's going to be both teams falling back to their respective sides. A little bit of an advantage here to email support, but really it's been going back and forth, never going more than just a few hundred gold. A very close game. It's going to make for a very exciting cast, and I'm excited to see who can pull out ahead. Later on into the game, the team fighting might really go in the way of email support since they have the Fiddlesticks Crow Storm, they have the Unstoppable Force from Malphite, as well as great AoE damage from both the Whirling Death of Draven and the Ultimate and Rake from Talon. However, Shyvana and Gragas will continue to scale very well. Jinx and Annie also have a very great late game if they can get those items on. Not quite, you know, the late game super carries, but Annie is one of those supports who can definitely continue to build AP and be relevant at every point in the game. It looks like he isn't quite doing that yet, instead going for the Talisman there, as well as a Sight Stone. Not able to do quite so much damage yet, but I expect to see that. There's a Crow Storm in from Azingi on the payment. There's the Fear onto him. Can he get the repel? He cannot in time. The double ultimate is too much, and he is going to fall here. That will be a 700 gold advantage, but Latman gets caught out here. Azingi draining him to death. He's going to fall. There's a Lantern in, but Too Much to Learn is just much too far from that. 2 kills picked up here by email support, and they're going to look to push on to this mid lane. They have the minions behind them. They really aren't contested here too heavily. Baby Zeus does have Explosive Cask. He could use that to save the turret for a little bit. Apexy also does have his Summon Timber, so there's an Unstoppable Force on the Baby Zeus and the Death Sentence. The Fear and the Silence may be too much, but there's the Explosive Cask and the Body Slam. Baby Zeus is surviving for a while, but it's just not enough. Much to Learn, and Azingi definitely dancing around there, shaking up the aggro and just keeping themselves alive. They won't be able to go onto this turret. Apexy and Proof of Payment are going to keep it safe, but a really great play. Oh wow, Signature had a rough time in the bottom lane, 1v1ing Geek Gone Mad, who is just continuously split pushing these lanes. Hasn't really been able to join much of a team fight yet, and it might end up being his team's saving grace if they can get these turrets, or it could be their downfall if they just keep losing team fights like that and lose their very important priority turrets. They were able to defend the inner turret for now, but it might go down on the very next push. It doesn't have too much health remaining. Now Disney Stars have grouped up in the middle lane. This is a common play when teams aren't really sure what to do. It's just to group up in mid. They see the turret, they see it's on low health. They just all kind of go there, and then once the enemy team shows up, they stand around a bit, and I don't know that I'm a huge fan of it. I instead prefer the mid push that we saw from email support just a minute ago, where after winning a fight, they saw they had the minions, they saw they had the members, and they pushed down. They ended up getting a kill, as well as a lot of turret damage on it. As opposed to the play here from Disney Star, who instead just walked to mid, maybe got an auto attack or 2 down on the turret, and then had to back off. Now they're in a pretty rough spot since our purple team has been able to group. This could be a 5v4 if they continue in here, because actually a 5v3, but they are going to back off since they know they don't have their top or mid laners. This continues to be a close game. However, email support are pulling farther and farther ahead, almost a 2,000 gold advantage now, which isn't the biggest advantage, but it could be an important item. You know, that could be a BF sword on the AD carry. If we look at our builds, we have almost identical builds on the AD carries, both with the Zeal, the Phantom Dancer, and the Berserker's Greaves. Our mid laners, we can see that Gragas has gone much more for the sustain build. He has his Athene's Unholy Grail, and he is looking to pick up a Zonya's Hourglass eventually after getting the Seeker's Arm Guard. Seeker's Arm Guard, a very strong pickup in an AP versus AD matchup, since it will keep him from being insta-gibbed by the Talon at least. The blasting one, however, won't be able to turn into his Anya's Hourglass, so that will delay that a little bit. He might want to go for the Rabadons and just keep that Seeker's Arm Guard for both the armor and the ability power. We'll see how he decides to go for that. Meanwhile, his opposing mid laner, much to learn, has gone for an assassination build, as well as a pretty strong split pushing build, since he has... Oh, he's actually going to go aggressively here on the Baby Zeus. Let's see if the Seeker's Arm Guard is enough to take him out. He ults in, he flashes over, the Ignite is ticking down, he takes it out. He doesn't choose to take the Lantern back out. Sorry, Doctor, but you're going to be alone there today. And a really solid play there. He has the attack speed and movement speed there, as well as the armor penetration, attack damage, and cooldown reduction. All those great stuff that the Yumu's Ghostblade gives you. And then he has some burst damage from the Tiamat, as well as pushing potential that Talon doesn't necessarily have. Inherently, he can use the rakes, but they aren't the best for pushing lanes. However, once he brings in a Tiamat, he can clear out the waves easily. He can do a lot of damage to turrets if he pops at Yumu's Ghostblade, and he's going to be a threat here, whether in team fights or out. Now we have two members here of email support. They're playing this very safely, very smartly, staying off to the side and keeping Disney Stars from engaging on them while they try to poke down here. The zap lands on the Doctor. He tries to go out of Death Sentence, but misses. There's not too much warding in this jungle here from Disney Stars, so they don't quite know where their enemies are. Apexy is ready, though, to throw out a summon Tibbers, and I'm sure that tensions are high now for both teams. The dragon is up, and it will be contestable. Right now, email support are putting themselves in the position to take it, but they're instead going to back off. They realize their mid lane is going to go down. Izing comes over the Crow Storm, tries down on the Fear onto Geek on Mad, but he's just going to be able to run away from that one. The Dark Wind not quite doing enough there, and that was a really smart pickup there from Disney Stars. Not only were they able to pick up the turret, but they were able to intimidate email support off of that dragon and just ultimately get that for themselves. They still are 3,000 gold down, but a solid play there. If they have a couple more solid plays just like that, they could easily get right back into this game, make it even, and really give email support a run for their money. I hate having to call them email support. I feel like that's not a real name at all, but oh well, it's the name they give me, it's the name I call them. The death sentence is not landing. Sometimes you can afford an off death sentence or two, but unfortunately, Doctor's had a really hard time this game landing a lot of those. He's had some key ones. He got the first blood with one, but he's just been throwing them out unsuccessfully, and now it's going to cost him as Disney Stars are going to go in. The explosive cast just forces Zenith's back, and he's going to be safe. He got mad, tries Dragon to send out, but he's falling low to the unsolvable words from Dragon Reader. The Whirling Death did quite a bit of damage. Doctor going to be the first to fall, but much to learn, tries to get in there. He gets 3 with the rake before he falls. Did pick up the triple kill, an excellent snare there, going to keep them from falling on the Lapman, but ultimately it was a 3 for 2. Much to learn did a lot of damage. That max range rake was intense there. It will leave email support in a position to finally take out this mid lane turret. Latman doesn't quite have the health to defend against Signature. Signature is really powerful at this point with that Bloodthirster. He actually, if Latman weren't there, I think he'd be looking to go in and face tank up the turret. He has to back off now since he knows that members of our blue team are respawning, but it was good enough as Izingi managed to once again solo this dragon, bringing them yet more gold, getting their lead up to 4,500 now. A very excellent series of plays from email support has just continuously brought them in the lead after a very, very close start. And if they keep this up, they should be pushing into those inhibitor turrets soon. I expect to see them really starting to force those plays, since if they wait too long, Baby Zeus can definitely become a huge threat. And as Geek Gone Mad continues to build tankier and tankier, it looks like he's now going for a Randuin's Omen with those double cloth armors. He could be a huge factor in team fights that maybe email support isn't ready to put up with. Proof of Payment wants to go in here. Much to learn is forced to ult away. He has a very short cooldown there, especially with the Yumu's Ghostblade. He's now paid for the last whisper as well for the armor penetration. Doctor goes in and doesn't fall yet. Azingi ults in with the Crow Storm, does a lot of damage. Doctor finally falls, as well as Azingi, but Proof of Payment does go down to follow. A 2 for 1, I don't think it was worth it. Azingi really tried to get in there and make something of it, but unfortunately he did tank up the Baron there and did fall. It's 24 minutes into the game, but these teams still aren't quite confident to go for that Baron or really take too many hits. The Assault Force comes in. There's a whirling death across. Geekon Mad falling low. Latman going down immediately. Signature is stunned up, but is going to continue on running through this fight. He's throwing out the whirling axes to get the refresh on his speed buff as he chases onto Apexy, who does not have a stun up. Apexy, you're falling low, man. There's the slow out from Malphite, and Signature is going to get a killing spree there, raking in the gold once again from that League of Draven passive. If we look at his gold total now, he has received 964 gold from his passive, and 464 of that was just in a single kill. So he's been stacking that up well. Oh, the aggression in from Much to Learn takes out Baby Zeus, but he could fall here to the turret. Proof of Payment going to return that Proof of Payment. Now repels up into the air. Signature can't quite follow it up. He finally does, flashing over, but he might go down here to Geek on Mad. This would be a great shutdown for Shyvana, but the Lantern is there. Signature is safe, claiming that Rampage, and very aggressive play. The Super Mega Death Rocket going to shut him down. Latman does not want to let him out of there, and I figure Docta is just either face palming or laughing hysterically as he pauses very slightly. A really solid play there. Oh, Docta could be caught out here, though. He throws out the Lantern, but there's no one to take it. He flashed over the wall, though. An excellent juke avoids that zap and gets him safe. He can now jump over the wall here. Really, really well played from Docta there. He was able to keep his AD carry safe for the most part until he died. That was just the excellent escape with the most anticlimactic ending. What it's going to mean, unfortunately, for email support is that Disney Stars can just push out through this mid lane, push it up, and they can't quite take out this inhibitor turret. The spawn timers are just a little bit too short at this point in the game, as everyone is right now around the level 13 or 14 mark, except for our supports, of course, who are down at 11 and 12. Taking a look at our items, we have a Zingy going for a very typical fiddle build with that Zhonya's Hourglass, because he will be able to pop that in his Crowstorm and continue to do damage while he remains invincible. Looking at Dragon Raider, he has picked up the Sunfire Cape and has not yet gone for the Spirit Visage. With that Giant Spell, he's most likely now going for Randuin's Omen, since he realizes he needs to stop Signature and Much to Learn. That's a lot of attack damage. Zingy flashes over the wall here, goes for the Fear onto Proof of Payment. Proof of Payment should be able to repel away. There's the excellent Zhonya's Hourglass, and Apexy is going to fall. Proof of Payment should be soon to follow. The Explosive Cask was there just for the disengage, as Zingy's going to survive on barely any health. Docta jukes out the zap and is going to be able to pop his Speed Boost boots and get away from this. Signature wants to follow up here, but their health is just a little bit too high. The Lantern back out might have been accidental as he clicked on that on the ground. Zap's going to catch Dragon Raider, but I don't think Latman can really follow in here. Much to Learn going to try and go into Baby Zeus, and Baby Zeus going to take him out with the Blind Barrel, but Signature is there from the side with the spinning axes. Geekon Man has to be careful here, since Signature is powerful. As Zingy coming in from the side on the Latman gets the silence down on him, and there is the drain. The kill goes over to Dragon Raider. Docta is now in here with a death sentence, but Zingy will fall there to Geekon Man. Geekon Man now tries to flash out, but the Flay brings it back in. A double kill there for Dragon Raider. They did not lose Signature either, and so that will be now 3 dead for Disney Stars and 2 for email support. Proof of Payment tries to go in aggressively, but it doesn't have the health yet. An excellent Summer Timbers does stun them up, does get an off of Proof of Payment, but really doesn't chunk their health too bad. There's not too much ability power out of Apexy yet. He does have his Fiendish Codex there, as well as some cooldown reduction from the Ionian Boots of Lucidity, but he's not going to be quite putting out the damage he might like to. Docta has instead opted for a tankier route, going for the Spectre's Cowl as well as the health from the Giant's Belt, so he's going to look to just initiate these fights, get in them, and continue to disrupt the enemy, which is exactly what he's been doing. He's kept his team remarkably safe. Unfortunately, he couldn't save a Zingy, but with all they got out of it, it was a worthwhile sacrifice. We now see a gold advantage of almost 9,000. A really excellent series of plays from email support have continuously brought them ahead, and they really haven't given up much of this lead throughout the last 15 minutes of the game. We now see teams finally looking towards Baron, as they know it's about almost 30 minutes into the game. It's time to start taking it or throwing at it, just depending on how they decide to go about it. This could be an excellent opportunity for Disney Stars to come back if they catch out email support here with an excellent Summon Timbers or Explosive Cask. And if anyone's great at stealing a dragon, it's going to be the team of Baby Zeus, Apexy, and Proof of Payment. Stealing a Baron, sorry. That's what I meant to say. Stealing both buffs, really. They just have the Dream Team. You can knock them away, you can stun them all, and then you have excellent mobility from Elise, as well as the percent health-based damage to go in for the Execute Smite. However, he's not going to be an opportunity to go for this Dragon Contest. Instead, they might look to answer for a Baron. The Dragon falls down quickly, and this is going to mean Emo Support can just run right over here towards the middle lane, stopping any attempts at a Baron. And if Disney Stars wanted to go for that, they would have just been a little bit too slow there. Now Doctor wants to go in aggressively. He does not get the death sentence, but his team is still there behind him. Apexy tries to come around the side to get the engage, but he's instead going to run right into Much to Learn, who will take him out immediately. He did have to burn the flash for that, but I think it was well worth it, as it's now a 5v4 here in the jungle. Dragon Raider falling low, but forcing Geek on Mad to Dragon's Descent away. Doctor tries and comes in with the tries to come in with the death sentence, but can't quite make it. He now throws a ward over the wall. He wants to catch out Latman or Baby Zeus, but instead he's going to take a lot of damage from the barrel roll. They now have to be careful. Baby Zeus comes in with the explosive cast, but the Unstoppable Force immediately following. The Super Mega Death Rocket does not take out Dragon Raider. He's a little bit too tanky so far. This fight is close. The Whirling Death going to hit nobody there on the first run. Let's see if he can get it on the return. Barely scratches Geek Gone Mad. Ultimately, not too many deaths, not nearly as many as I would expect. Doctor has to be afraid of those barrel rolls since Gragas is powerful now. He's picked up the Zanya's Hourglass, the Athene's Unholy Grail, and is most likely looking for Abaddon's Death Cap with that blasting one. Doctor does catch him with the death sentence of the Baby Zeus is there. Can he get the damage out? No, he's instead going to fall here. Almost. He does pop the Zanya's Hourglass to go out in style, but Much to Learn will get the kill there. Zap coming out with a lot of damage and slow on Much to Learn. There is the flash summon. Tibbers onto Much to Learn, and there is the kill onto Apexy. Much to Learn comes back in, tries to get Latman, but can't quite get him. Signature did get a kill on the Proof of Payment, but he has to be careful now. Geek on Mad is chasing onto him. Geek on Mad does slow him with the Randuins and should be able to get this kill. Can he chase on? He is able to get that. 3 dead here on email support. 3 dead as well on Disney Stars. Docta is low, but he's trying to bait this in for Dragon Raider to come in and follow up. Dragon Raider tries to get the speed off of Tibbers to follow up, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Apexy does have his boots too, and he's going to be able to run away from this one. Ooh, a good amount of action there is ultimately going to bring email support up to about a 10,000 gold advantage. Docta now going to help Dragon Raider get over the wall to seal this blue buff, continuing to deny these objectives here for our blue team. Blue buff isn't the biggest objective at this point in the game, of course. However, Baby Zeus would definitely like that to continuously throw out the barrel rolls, and right there he checks it, and he is going to be a sad fat man as he can't quite get that for himself. He's going to have to drink from his own barrel instead. Looking at these builds, Much to Learn is one of the richest men on the map with 12 kills and 6 assists. He's picked up a Ravenous Hydra, a Black Cleaver, a Yumu's Ghostblade, a Last Whisper, and his Quick Boots, the Boots of Mobility. He does have a last item slot. He might go for a defensive item there so he doesn't fall down quite so easily. Either a Banshee's Veil or a or maybe even a Randuin's Omen would be excellent there. For being able to disrupt the enemy team while he's in the middle there, as well as taking a lot of damage. However, if he chooses to go for another aggressive item, I wouldn't be surprised if he just wanted to make sure he could eliminate one person from Matt. Now Geek on Matt is coming with the Dragon's Descent. They are collapsing on them from the side, but the flash descendants from Docta onto Apexy is going to catch him up. He will fall there to Azingi's Crow Storm. Now Azingi is following up. Proof of Payment did take out Much to Learn, but they did lose Baby Zeus in the process. Docta there with another excellent descendant falls over onto Latman, and Latman is going to fall there to Dragon Raider. Dragon Raider is unstoppable here with a 5-0 and 12 score. He hasn't died a single time this game, and that is going to be 3 members here in the middle lane pushing up. Geek on Matt chasing onto Docta is most likely going to get him here. Let's see if Docta can come out with the excellent jukes. He throws out the flay, knocks him off. He doesn't have the death sentence to go across the wall, or does he? Are the raids there? They are not. They were taken earlier. No, they just spawned. He gets over the wall. He's still surviving from Geek on Mad. He is bringing them around entirely as the inhibitor goes down in the middle lane. Geek on Mad is still chasing. He has to fall off. That was one of the best escapes that I've seen. To be honest, the Descendants almost landed. That could have been the most excellent ending to that play, but unfortunately it's just going to be an inhibitor down in the mid lane. That was such an impressive play from Docta. Those wraiths spawned the moment he threw out the death sentence. That was some of the best timing I've seen. I have not checked chat once this stream. I'm going to just tab out and check the escape to see what you guys think of that one. Now Geek on Mad might be suffering from his play. Unfortunately, he's just going to be good away from that. I say unfortunately just because he was so aggressive. I have to tease him a little bit, maybe pretend I'm not on his team. Much to learn now going there onto a Pexi. This should be a very dead Annie. He cannot play that aggressively, and Much to Learn going to get the kill there. The Cocoon comes in from Proof of Payment, but Much to Learn will be able to survive against that jungler there, and Proof of Payment has to get back to his base since the rest of email support are going to be there pushing down. They do have a full health super minion there to help them. Geek on Mad finally gets back there to help defend. He has his burnout to help clear out these creeps, but it's going to open up the side lanes a lot here for email support. Much to Learn going to go into Proof of Payment there. There's the fear, but the explosive cast forces Zingy back. He has to go into that Zanya's. A great Zanya's though, going to keep him alive for long enough. Yes, he's going to be able to survive from that. No one's died yet. Geek on Mad now wants to chase on, but the fear going to force him back. Now Signature is chasing on to him. Dragon Raider comes in with the Unstoppable Force. Going to take out 1 and 2. That is going to be a 6-0-13 Dragon Raider. That was an excellent Unstoppable Force there. Doctor is just here in the middle of the base. I don't know if he can survive from that one. The sun comes out from Annie. Doctor is falling low, but Dragon Raider is there to deter them. And wow, Doctor is playing godlike this game. He's missed so many death sentences that I can't call him a thresh god, but as a support god and a mechanical player, he is definitely one of the top there. He walks right into a barrel roll, takes him rather low. He has to be very careful. Baby Zeus here. Dragon Raider trading there with Proof of Payment a little bit in his favor though, as he does emerge alive. Proof of Payment is going to spend another 40 seconds dead, which at this point is something his team cannot afford. Proof of Payment has died an unfortunate 10 times with his AD carry Latman following. And this has just been some strong play here from email support. They have not given up this lead at all. They're now up to almost 17,000 gold in the advantage. Oh, Much to Learn going to go into 3. He's going to take out 1. Can he follow up with the second? I'm not sure he can though. Latman playing really well. Does fall to Izingi over the wall. That's who killed him. That was almost an excellent play from Much to Learn, but unfortunately he did go down for that one, and I don't think it's worth it at this point to really trade his life for anything, since he really needs to be in that base going in. However, he still did get 2 kills in a 1v3, so hey, props to him. Props to him. Now we're going to see the Baron attempt here, and I don't really think that our blue team will be able to contest this at all, as Zingy is doing work there with his Drain. And that will be Baron falling down. The flash from Zing. Oh, the surrender vote came out. It's like the big flash, and they realized their time was up. Their time was over. The Whirling Death finally comes back to assure the victory over here in the League of Draven. 14 kills on Much to Learn, 10 kills on Signature, and even Dragon Raider coming in with a 7-0 and 13 Malphite. That was one of the most excellently played Malphites that I have seen in a long, long time. I'm going to come. Hello, guys. That was a lot of fun. So, a great game there from 2 challenger teams. Thank you so much for Disney Stars for letting me spectate off of you, for telling me when you're queuing up, and for finally queuing up there after a bit of a delay. We had a fun time though, talking about music and kind of everything there in our pre-game chats. Remember that you can go ahead and let me know what you want me to do better next time, and I'll take one of your comments and focus on that. The comment I was focusing on today was that I really need to be more interesting in my voice, so I was really trying to put inflection there at every point in the game, and I feel like I did a much better job than I usually do. I feel like I improved a lot there. There were definitely other mistakes that I noticed, and I want you guys to tell me what it is so that I can work on myself from a viewer's perspective. I also plan on writing down notes for myself and compiling those, and so I'll be able to look over those, see how I've been improving, and see what I think I need to work on as well. And ultimately, if we all work together, I can become the very best shoutcaster ever. And so with that, I thank you all for coming out to the stream. I'm going to put on a hold screen just for a few minutes while I talk to you guys in chat, since I haven't been checking it this game. I had a really fun time doing this stream for you guys, and thanks for coming out. Hope you guys come out tomorrow. Hope you guys check out the YouTube video and leave comments. And you guys are all great. I'm heading to the chat right now.